What makes IBDP and IGCSE stand out?
So IB is not only preparing you for a course, IB actually prepares you for life.
How would you explain IBDP IGCSE to someone who is completely new to it?
The first stage of natural learning is the process of reflection.
How have you seen the schools getting involved in terms of teaching method or students' engagement?
We have specialized teachers for the subjects.
Hello everyone, welcome to Spotlight, the Pillai Podcast. And today we are talking about From Vision to Reality inside the world of IBDP and IGCSE curriculum. And today we have with us Mr. Gyaan Sir, a dynamic educator and who is part of MES for more than 2 decades. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Sir, so since you are here from day one, so what was the vision behind starting the school with IBDP and IGCSE curriculum?
A very good question to start with. We need to understand, post-liberalization in 1991, there was a lot of cross-cultural interaction started from India to the world across, and then people around us, as a society, we realized that there is a gap in the Indian education system which is not able to fulfill the modern needs. And since MES is in the education since very long time, we already had very successful state board and CBSE schools. But when we went across and we studied the curriculum of around more than 28 countries across, then we realized that everything around us had changed. Memory and speed, these were the two skills which were highlighted in the previous century. Whereas if you see the modern requirements in the professional world, memory and speed, both these skills have been taken care by machines now. So we need professionals who are innovators, who are original thinkers, good communicators, problem solvers. And the kind of rigidity we had in our Indian education system in state board and CBSE, they were not allowing us to fulfill that requirement. And when we studied these curriculum like IBDP and IGCSE, we realized that this has a lot of scope to deliver that to the population. With this vision, this Dr. Pillai Global Academy came into existence. Our vision statement itself says local actions to create global options.
Beautifully explained, sir. So how would you explain IBDP, IGCSE to someone who is completely new to it? Because for Indians, it is little difficult to understand.
To start with, I'll continue the previous answer. Since we realized that we have to move beyond memory and speed. So what next? How we learn naturally? The first stage of natural learning is the process of reflection. Once we reflect, we realize our strengths and weaknesses both. And then as a process of learning, we have to work on our weaknesses. For that, the research and innovation is important. So in all, if you see, the two modern skills which are of the prime most importance is reflection and research. And international curriculum provide you both.
That was very informative, sir. So how have you seen the schools getting involved in terms of teaching method or students' engagement over the period of time?
Again, since we have started a comparative, population has been a big problem with us as a country. So our classrooms, day by day, they just went on increasing the numbers of students, and it became very populated, and it was difficult for teachers to meet the individual requirements. So that was the first change. In Dr. Pillai Global Academy, we maintain 25 to 30 students in a class first. And second thing, we have specialized teachers for the subjects. Like any person can teach a subject, but when you have a specialized person, he connects to the soul of the subject. So with that individual attention, children are given option of activity-based learning, experiential learning. When you experience something firsthand, the learning is permanent and it remains for the child forever. So all the concepts, like people say, sir, what is different? So of course the concept, if I'm teaching math, I have to also teach the counting, and any other school or any other person has to teach counting. But the way it is delivered in this school, that becomes very different. So the activity-based program, personalized learning, and individual attention to detail, then reflection-based learning, these are some key aspects. So if you see here, the teacher's role changes from merely teaching to becoming a mentor. So that leads to the holistic development of the child.
So, sir, specifically in India, if we are convincing someone to get involved in this curriculum, so people will, the first question is always it will be that what are the major strengths of this curriculum, because we look at only positive side of everything. So what are the strengths of this curriculum?
Actually, it's a very good question. People have realized, but they are not ready to accept, because as humans, we go by majority because we feel safe there.
Right.
Somewhere, if people are more, you always feel safe. That's what is going on. Whereas, if you reflect properly, what exactly is going on? Our systems have changed, the way people are working has changed. Now, if you see the content given in a book, more than that is available on YouTube or any other channel. So, what is the exact role of the school and the mentor? The role of school and mentor has changed. You have to make the students visionaries. You have to make the risk takers, the honest, responsible students, those who are ready to take challenges of the modern world. Now, when I'm saying this, how all this is going to happen? This will not happen in a day. So, all these skills develop through opportunities and exposure that cannot be provided only through within the four walls of classroom. They cannot be provided only through the books.
Right.
So that can only be done in form of activities. We do a lot of activities, varied activities, to fulfill the needs of different learners, and through that we give exposure. And I mentioned in the beginning itself the process of reflection and improvement. Then slowly the child develops his personality. So we not only teach students, we believe in creating leaders for future.
How does this curriculum differ from the traditional Indian systems like CBSE and ICSE?
To start with, I'll elaborate a bit more on IBDP curriculum, exactly what we do. IB believes in 3-4 aspects. Allow me time to answer those. First, that we have a compartmentalization like art, science, commerce in Indian system, which I think they have just realized in new education policy, but again execution is going to take a lot of time. So they know that this compartmentalization is not going to work. That is not the natural progression of knowledge. The natural progression happens in the collaboration. So IB gives you that freedom to choose subjects from science background, commerce background, as well as humanity backgrounds. Like you can have a student in DPGA who has taken physics, maths, accounting and art and design along with psychology. So this beautiful combination is possible only here. Now you must be thinking what this child is planning to do. So I'll take an example. This child wants to be an architect. So he wants to give a fresh perspective to his design. So he has taken art and design as a subject. Architecture, maths and physics being the requirement for further admission. So he has taken those subjects. Now accounting he has taken because he is not willing to be an employee later. He wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to start his own business. So he wants to understand the business psychology. He wants to understand the commerce financial aspects. So he wants to learn the accounting and the business aspects. So this way, he wants to make himself as a holistic individual who is ready to take that field of architecture, not as an employee, as an entrepreneur in the future.
Now, what about the Indian cultural roots? How does the school keep them alive?
Again, that's very good question. People misunderstand. The word international itself raises the red flag.
Right.
It's not that way. We are very much Indian, as I mentioned my vision statement, that local actions to create global options. So now just to elaborate there, IB is not only about learning subjects. IB has divided subjects into 6 group areas, that is into academics. Then there are certain additional requirements very much into the curriculum, which 3 major ones I would like to mention. One is extended essay, which is around 4,000 words, original research work. Then there is something called theory of knowledge. Now theory of knowledge, the moment I say the word knowledge, people think about books. But if you reflect properly, knowledge is not only books. Books are a very small part of our life. It is the religion we practice, the region we belong to, the society we stay, and the people we interact with, the places we have visited. So there are many factors which in total make our knowledge base. And then in that, the world is so biased nowadays. Media is biased, social media is biased, print media is biased. So it becomes very, very critical for an individual to have his own perspective. IB has theory of knowledge in the curriculum where children are allowed to discuss very critical things also. Like I would like to give an example. 2 years back, we had a student. she took as a topic for her TOK presentation, cremation is being done in across different religions. So like when you go in the roots, you will realize the people who burn those religions, they started near the river basins where you had more of supply of wood and water. Whereas the religions where the dead bodies are buried, they had ample supply of land and sand. So when such things are discussed in classroom, you create more aware and balanced individuals. That's what is needed for harmony in the society. So IB is not only preparing you for a course, IB actually prepares you for life.
So I was highly impressed at how you answer about the difference between IBDP and our traditional Indian boards. What makes IBDP and IGCSE stand out compared to our traditional Indian boards like CBSE and ICSE?
Okay. Now, there are a few more things which I would like to add. Like in the beginning, I mentioned that the modern requirements, the modern skills which are required in the professional world, they cannot only be delivered within the four walls. Now, IB is such a firm believer of this. They have included that in the curriculum, something like CAS. CAS stands for creativity, activity and service. Like we have a very traditional Indian mindset that the child has reached 10th and 12th, so everything is stopped, connections are cut, and then you focus only on academics. But it is not like that. If you pursue a hobby, like if you enjoy dancing, I think dancing gives you a positivity, and that positivity can be transferred into your other subjects. So it is cutting down hobbies of students, or the interest areas of students is like cutting down their wings. So IB believes that you continue doing that as a part of CAS. So if you are good at writing poetry, you continue doing that. If you are good at making paintings, do that. If you want to enjoy learning online, learn a new language. Like if you can learn Python or any other language, you can do that online. That is allowed as a part of activity. You will not believe our students, last batch of students, they learn crochet and knitting, which is now almost the skill is lost. And then comes the service, very, very important component of human life. Sooner or later, we all have to be responsible and accountable towards society. Now, there was a belief in the society that the problems around us are created by illiterate people. But again, if you reflect properly, it is not the fact. All the modern problems have been created by highly intellectual, super sophisticated brains. So how is that? That means somewhere that value system is missing. So what IB believes that the service component has to start from school. So we take our students for visits to orphanages, old age homes. Then we go to Adivasi village for doing many activities to give them the exposure of what a village life is. Then our students go for many tree plantation drive, beach cleaning drives. So all these activities, they add a lot of values to child's personality, and sometimes reflections are so deep because it's not like a trip, you go and come back. Once the child is back, he has to write a reflection report. So sometimes reflections are so deep that child develops and maybe motivation for further research. Maybe I develop something which makes a life of a blind person or an old person easy.
Right.
So these impressions are almost permanent. They change the child for I think forever. So now if you see in the traditional curriculum, slowly we came into only books and books and books. Whereas if you see the IB and IGCSE, the international curriculums which we offer at Dr. Pillai Global Academy, that brings in more holistic development of the child's personality, which includes academics also, which includes activities also, social connect and the social responsibility also. At the same time, creating balanced individual by developing their own perspective and developing the nature of having their own research. So in all, if you see, international curriculums give an option and opportunity both to create more holistic individuals.
So talking about holistic development, so can you just give me a detailed description that how it helps a child to develop in every manner, not just in academic?
Again, I will take you to the colonial period to understand this a little deeply. Now, during colonial periods, Britishers they just wanted us to be in the lower level jobs. Right. So our academics was set around that. People had in translation and all these during their exams. So we were not trained to take our own decisions. We were trained to carry information and inform to the leader when it is required, where the decision making was reserved for them, the super class, maybe Britishers or some individuals who could reach there. Whereas now, as I told, post liberalization, if you see, we all want to be in that position. So we train our students to lead from since very childhood through our school council and different committees and different teams which we make. Like, I'll give you an example. We have a editorial team in our school.
Right.
No interference from any teacher. We've got 2 mentor teachers just for guidance. But if you check our website or Instagram, we have got our newsletters, we have got our annual magazine completely created by students. Now you would be thinking how and why? Because there are students, the one who is good in photography, you don't have anything in academics for photography. The one who is good designer, graphic designer.
Right.
So our students, they have got different committees, like one takes role of photographer, someone takes role of a reporter during our events. So when they bring out the report, then the student, those who are senior in terms of skill, again not in terms of grades, you might have an editor from grade 9 and the reporter from grade 12. So the reports are compiled, they are edited, and the designers, they place them like where what should come. Even our logo for the newsletter and the magazine has been designed by students. So we give them that independence. Of course they make mistakes, but through mistakes and reflections you learn. So it is about giving them opportunity and the freedom to make mistake. See what is going on with the parent community. We want to give them always the safe world.
Right.
But you never grow in safe world. You grow with the challenges. You grow when you have got freedom to make mistake and improvise. So that's what we provide in DPG.
So as a teacher, it's beautiful to watch our students doing well. So any particular success story that reflects the power of this curriculum, means of any of your student?
Actually, there are many because we create stories every year with every batch.
Right.
Because we are not the one school who selects only 99 percentilers or 100% percentilers. We take anybody who is average, above average, who can fit into our classroom. We only want the regular, consistent students. Now, few examples to mention. Even my weakest students, when he goes to university, they flourish. Because through this journey of reflection, they realize their purpose of life. You will see many a times we are into the problems because we are confused about our career and the professional choices. Whereas in the students in DPJ, they're very, very clear at very young age. So when they reach university and they do the courses of their choice, they flourish. Now, since you asked a specific example, now I would not name the college. One of my students went to Delhi University, the best college, best known college. And when she went there, they started teaching PowerPoint presentation and all these things. The child went to the professors. She told, I have written a complete kind of a thesis as an extended essay. I have made paper presentations. I've done all this research. The PowerPoint presentation is a very small thing.
Right.
Why are we wasting time for this at the graduation class? So they told that's how the curriculum is placed. You need to know, and then slowly you will grow. So then when the discussion happened at length, they admitted that what is required as in the university, the skill set I am saying, almost everything was developed beforehand. So they told now the content and books you can do self-study also, because we train that also the students. That's one of the prime importance of the modern world. Everybody has to be the self-learner, because the day you are stagnant, you will be outdated.
Now, what is the piece of advice you would like to give to a parent who is hesitant to enroll their child into international curriculum?
See, the hesitation is not about curriculum.
Right.
Hesitation is because the child is trying to give that safety net to the child. So the parent has to understand that all of us have got one expiry date. Sooner or later, the child has to be independent. So why not that journey starts from the childhood, when you can do that mentoring at home and we teachers can do that at school. That has to start since childhood. Like, I'll take one again small example. We learn bicycles with the side wheels, but we don't keep those side wheels for whole life.
Right.
There is a time when you remove, but the day it is removed, child falls. But you know how much of damage it can do. You have few scratches and all, and then slowly child learns to balance on its own. Same happens to life. The parents have to release that. They don't know when to release, and that is not happening. And many times you see people are coming out of university, and then again the answer comes ki mummy ko पूछ के बताता हूँ. So that is the problem.
Right.
So that starts with the curriculum itself. Child is the best judge of what they exactly want to do, because in the so fast changing world, you cannot continue with something you cannot enjoy. So you will be only able to sustain in this such a fast paced world where people say it is all stress is because you don't enjoy.
Right.
When you do something what you enjoy, there won't be stress around. So we have to give that freedom to the child to choose what they wish to do, and parents have to take that back seat. It is like teaching him to drive a car, but you are not ready to come out of that steering wheel. You want to drive yourself and keep this child on the side seat. That is not going to help you for long.
So sir, before we conclude, I would like to ask you that what is the future of this curriculums in India?
If you see, as a society, we are growing day by day. I can proudly say that we have been successful in creating awareness around Navi Mumbai since 2009. 2009 when we started, it was very difficult for us to convince people, or at least make them listen also what these curriculums deliver, because people start talking about the options after these courses. And when the moment we talk about skill and all, people were not ready to listen. But now the world has changed. I will tell you 2-3 differentiators now. The first, at large, the government has itself realized, and you can see the new education policy. If you compare new education policy, around 80 to 90% is the copy of what we are doing since more than 2 decades now.
Right.
Second, as a parent awareness, if you see now, people have started realizing those differences in their professional life, that degrees won't matter. What matters more is the skill, and that is what we provide in the international curriculum. So these 2 big changes have happened. Now the third is the employers, the big employers around world, like maybe it is Elon Musk, or I think day before yesterday I was listening to Anil Agrawal, the chairman of Vedanta. All these people have started saying that assessments are important in life, but exams are not. See, what we have done, we have mixed exams and assessments. Exams are a way to assess a person, whereas the world has started looking beyond that.
Right.
Now exams are redundant. All these people are saying your exams don't matter. What matters ultimately what you bring on table, the skills which you bring, the new thinking, communication, problem solving, creative thinking, simple as negotiator.
Right.
All right. So all these skills which you bring in on table, they are much more important than any degrees you carry with you. So maybe another decade, all these things are going to be out and the people are going to understand. So the international curriculums are here to exist and flourish day by day.
Thank you so much, sir. You have literally cleared all the misconception and doubt about international curriculum, which was there in my mind, and I guess our audience will also relate with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you so much for watching. And for more such exciting, insightful and informative podcasts, follow us on Instagram at DPGA Panvel, and also subscribe to us on YouTube at Pillai Group Online.